Hello, good afternoon. How you doing? I just forgot my glasses, so I need to put those on. Yeah, how you doing? Just seen Boadi's first interview on the City website. Well, there's a lot of money in it for an 18-year-old, but from what we're all led to believe, he's something special and will hopefully improve the team and stay with us for a long time. He sort of has to stay for a long time, really, given his given the price and what we need. So no concerns about him needing to shoot off early. Made his debut at 16 for Lille, so he's got a couple of years' experience. And he's obviously not going to be thrown straight into the team, is he? He's obviously not going to be thrown straight into the team. So, well, I assume that. I assume he's going to go a bit like drip feed, with a view then towards the end of the season, and then next season, stake a real positive claim. It's very similar to the way Bernardo Silva started. I expect it'll go. Although Bernardo Silva was a little bit more experienced and a little bit older. I've seen a few bits and pieces around. Simon Jordan was talking about Lille rubbing their hands together because no one spoke about this player before the World Cup. The World Cup apparently increases his value. I don't think that's true, is it? I remember this guy being spoke about during the World Cup, and it was always a case of that Lille wanted X amount if you want to take him straight away, or a little bit less than X if you'd let him have him back. So I don't think Lille have fleeced us as a result of the World Cup at all. He seems to have his head screwed on, speaks good English, all the things you want to hear. City are a great club. His international debut actually was against Brazil in the World Cup. That was his international debut. So, people obviously think highly of him and think that, he's got the temperament, technique, and the wherewithal to do the necessary. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play, particularly as he's made contingencies in his life. He studied maths and physics. He hasn't just put it all into football, although, given his signing on fee and the wages and the contract, I doubt he'll need to be a physics teacher anytime soon. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Hopefully he makes the bench Friday, and if we're cruising, he can get on. I don't want to see him just thrown in though. I'll come on to what I'm hoping for next, although what I'm hoping for is a little bit unrealistic given the time frames. Marmoush, we'll come to him. We'll talk about Marmoush going out. Why do people like to be lied to? Why do people want to believe there is a mass conspiracy theory? Like these anti-vax nutcases. If you want to know if vaccines work, go and find the last person to have polio. Go and do that. People want to believe that there's a massive conspiracy theory going on around City in every area of the club, whether that's colluding with the Saudi Arabian team that Marmoush went to increase his value, or in this case, to deflate Marmoush's transfer fee, elevate Savinho's transfer fee as to avoid paying Frankfurt any additional fees as a result of the sell-on clause that was floated to be in the contract. I said at the time, there's absolutely no way there is a sell-on in that contract. Absolutely not. You cannot justify a fee that we paid to Frankfurt and ask for a sell-on fee. It doesn't work like that. You get sell-on fees when you sell at a low rate. Frankfurt were not selling low. Frankfurt were selling very, very high. So, City, I mean, I'm not to worry about, but for whatever reason, people wanted to believe that we were in cahoots with Tottenham to avoid paying Frankfurt some money. It's been confirmed. I'll show you who there was a German journalist. If I can find him, I'll show you who it is. Here we go. Let's share the screen very, very quickly. Not full image, you don't see that. There we go. This guy here, as revealed, you can read yourself. And now for Eintracht Frankfurt have no sell-on clause over Marmoush despite reports. The reason Eintracht Frankfurt received their desired fee at the time, plus an additional 5 million in bonuses. There were also a few instalments, meaning all payments have been fulfilled. Reports claim City, as yeah, blah blah blah, a complete nonsense. I said so at the time. They had absolutely no grounds to ask for a sell-on fee, and nor did they get they get you one. I says, I'll tell you what the obviously fan meetings that I complain how we sell our players. Sure. I mean, you look at the numbers the price we're selling these players for, right? Okay. Let's do that now. Reinders, we basically sold him for the same money that we bought him for. He wasn't for sale. City didn't want to flog him necessarily, despite the fans not liking him particularly highly. I think the club were quite happy. They wouldn't have sold him for 30 million, would they? So this team in Saudi Arabia, whose name I can't pronounce, I have to pay something. They have to pay something. So that fee's neither here nor there. Nico Gonzalez, about the same money that we're getting for him that we bought him for. Again, fans like him. I think he'll do well for Newcastle. Again, he's not actively for sale. He's got a long time in his contract. He wants to stay, but Newcastle have offered a good fee, so that's him dealt with. So that's Reinders and him. Who else is there? Savinho, obviously a very toppy price, but City rejected whatever it was last year. I think they wanted 60 last year and didn't get it. He signed a new contract, so City going to want more money for him. It's up to Tottenham if they want to pay it or not. They don't have to pay him. City obviously rated Savinho. I didn't. Tottenham obviously rated Savinho. I didn't. We'll see how it goes. I think the one that took opposition fans over the edge was the Savinho figure. Even I was surprised. I was surprised at it. I was surprised any Premier League team wants to pay anything for it at all. But where's this about Marmoush? Marmoush got on loan. If City are some big bad team that can command massive fees willy-nilly, why haven't they commanded a massive fee up front for Marmoush? Because it doesn't work. It is a negotiation, and everyone sees where they end up at the end. So I think a lot of fans are getting the knickers in a twist over something that isn't really anything other than what meets the eye. City don't want to sell these players really unless they get good offers. We've got good offers of Premier League teams who've got a lot of dough, and the player goes. It's pretty straightforward. If Rangers came in with a bid of 15 million, it wouldn't be going anywhere. So no, it's just one of those things. Opposition fans of social media, they don't go very well, do they? They don't go very well. You're never going to agree. It's very rare you'll get a conversation with, in a way, an opposition fan on social media where everyone just says at the end, okay, fair point. And social media, of course, isn't designed that way. But with Marmoush going, I do think we need a replacement. I spoke about it yesterday about Cody Gakpo coming in. I'd take him. I'd take Cody Gakpo at the right money. I don't see, but what is the right money? I'd say 50 or 60 million. People look at me and say he's achieved far more than Savinho, so Liverpool will want the same money. And there's probably a degree of truth in that. But I don't believe Savinho's worth 85 million, nor do I believe Gakpo's worth 85 million either. So we'll see how that goes. But I definitely think we do need some sort of replacement before the window shuts, because I don't think you can run with just Haaland up front. And I know people say, oh, Semenyo can do a job and whatever else, but I don't think that's good enough, because Savinho is really our only proven winger who knows where the net is. Doku, he'd be very good, but doesn't know where the net is on a regular basis. Gets injured quite a lot. Whether that's training, whether that's reasons for the selection environment he was picked for the Charity Shield, who knows? But either way, it's not great. So I think we need someone else. But I don't know who that would be. I said Jackson. I'd go for Gakpo. I'm easy. But I think Premier League experience and being a player who is happy to sort of dip in and out and play multiple positions, I think is something we should be looking at. And we'll talk about Enzo Fernández now, as per the thumbnail. 130 million, 140 million. I mean, it's wild, isn't it? It's bonkers. That amount of money for him is bonkers as far as I'm concerned. Now, I've been on social media, I've been on Blue Moon forums, and people, and there seem to be several camps here, and there's two camps that I'm not really interested in discussing at the moment. The camp of, oh, he's absolutely shit and he's no good, forget it. I mean, he obviously has some quality, doesn't he? So let's not get involved in that area. He's world class. He'll be our best player. Forget it. He won't be. For 140 million, you won't be buying the best player in the league. He is not the best player in the league, right? I think that is beyond dispute, right? In my view, and I think a lot of people do share this view, is a decent enough player who may improve us. And I think that's a reasonable position to hold. To say he's worth 140 million, I think is wild. Although, hear me out. If I'd have said to you at the start of the transfer window, City are going to buy Enzo Fernández for 40 million more than they sold Savinho for, would you think that was a good deal? I think you would. Because I was working on the basis that Savinho was going to go for 40, would buy Enzo for 80, everyone's happy, right? That seems about right. Now, he has got a lot of baggage, hasn't he? He has got a lot of baggage. Whether that's the way he acts when he's with Argentina, the racism and the songs he was singing around the French national team, whether it's wanting to leave to go to Real Madrid when at Chelsea and gobbing off after Maresca went. There's a lot of stuff with him that you think could fucking do without this. Could do without this. So, Jack Grealish got booed, didn't he? From away fans, from home fans, never really sure why. But that Argentinian defender United got seems to get away with murder. He gets sent off, acts a dickhead, and he seems to get away with murder with opposition fans. So I don't know if it's a City thing really, but he's going to come with a lot of baggage and a lot of attention that I'm not sure his temperament or ability are able to live up to. Hopefully I'm wrong. But for 130 million quid, you've got to hit the ground running. None of this beyond Boadi. You can come in, you can settle, and let's see how it goes over the next 6 to 9 months. This guy has got to come in and do the business. But what does the business look like? If you look at how we played on Sunday, would it be Elliot Anderson there and then Enzo Fernández bombing on to try and make things happen in midfield further up the pitch? I don't know. Where will that leave Matt Gay getting on the pitch? I imagine that means, O'Reilly misses out, Gay goes back, and Guardiola goes to left back. I don't know. It's been interesting to see. But has he got the quality to improve us? Yes, probably. I think so. Primarily because we haven't got anyone else. Is he better than Nico Gonzalez? I think he is, isn't he? I think he almost certainly is. So, but is he worth double the money? Well, we won't know, will we? We won't know it until we see him play. But this does. What's the word looking for? This screams of the club saying, "Maresca, what do you want?" And that does worry me a little bit. We all saw what happened with Ten Hag when he bought all his mates from Ajax. They all did nothing, and then the lumbered with Anthony. Who's the other one? Unana, De Ligt to a greater or lesser extent, and Martinez to a greater or lesser extent. They get lumbered. And then what happened when Maresca left Chelsea? Everyone started jumping up and down, didn't they? So whether he likes the players a bit too much, I'm not too sure. But I'd like to think the club would have said to him, "Listen, Enzo, if you see the documentary, it's great. They look at De Bruyne's stats, compare them with where Turkey is." You'd have thought the club would have done something like that. Right, here's where Enzo Fernández stands at certain key metrics, but the fee is enormous. So here is somebody else, or a variety of options, who are comparable with similar metrics, whether that be tackles, duels won, shots, long passes, short passes, whatever it happens to be, whatever matrix it is they use, you'd think they'd have different options. And for him to presume, if they found no one globally who is comparable to Enzo Fernández, which I don't think's likely, do you? There must be someone somewhere who's half the money with 3/4 of the skill, surely. But it seems like City putting all their eggs in the Enzo Fernández basket, and it's risky. It's risky for the manager as well. Let's say he starts against. I don't think he will start against Palace, will he? I don't think he'll be done before that. So his debut's likely to be Coventry at home, and we draw. The pressure's on straight away. Every United away his next game, pressure's on straight away. Grief. Referees will be after him. Opposition players will be after him. But I suppose that's the price of the ticket, isn't it? If you buy yourself a big bucks, you've got to do the business, haven't you? There's none of this settling in period for that amount of money. That is top player, best in the league material, and I don't think he is. But will he make us better? Yeah, probably. And I think that's probably where most people land. Yeah, the racism with the French team. Listen, 2 or 3 years ago, hopefully he's learned the error of his ways, and we move on. His celebration against England, yeah, he looked like a bell end, but fucking so what. His attitude at Chelsea, wanting out the first sign of the manager he liked leaving, I didn't like that. And his behaviour on the pitch in the World Cup was just a bit unsightly, innit? It's a bit unsightly. So, but the manager likes him. But then you could say, so what? So what if the manager likes him? Who gives a fuck? It's not the manager's money, is it? If the manager's spending 140 million of his quid on this player, would he do it? Would he bet his house on this player? If he said, right, Enzo, come on, Maresca, come here, give me your house keys. If this, let's put some KPIs down for Enzo Fernández. If this doesn't work, I'm taking your house off you. Do you think he'd do it? Think he'd do it? Fucking better add. He better add, hasn't he? He better add if he's betting 140 million of someone else's money. But we'll leave that there because I'm sure there'll be plenty to say later on about that. But the fee, it was 120 million quid 2 weeks ago. City laughed off the deadline. It's obviously going to be more expensive than that this time, isn't it? It can't be less because we'll make it look like tits. So it can't be less. So it's got to be more. And more than 120 is wild. I thought more than 80 would be wild, but what do I know? And then we've got Nico Gonzalez. I mentioned he's going. He's got his medical at Newcastle today. Shame to see him go, really. I thought he deserved another crack at the whip. I thought he's decent enough when he played. I saw someone say his Man City's Oscar Bob got better every game he didn't play. Now, I think that's overly harsh. I didn't think people raved about Oscar Bob far too much based on far too little. I think Nico Gonzalez's body of work is slightly bigger, and we were on a good run with him in central midfield. So I would like to have seen him have another chance. But Maresca took one look at him. If we assume Maresca started work when he's legally entitled to, that doesn't look likely, though, does it? Given the amount of players he's just fucked off. Because when you usually get a new manager, it's everyone's got a fresh slate, clean slate, fresh start for everyone. Well, that hasn't happened here, has it? He's followed the same views, more or less, that Guardiola has. Ain't nowhere near it. Nico Gonzalez nowhere near it. Reinder's out. Nico Gonzalez out. Marmoush out. Savinho out. They're all fucking gone, aren't they? The same ones that the previous manager had. So we'll see. I mean, I think the guy will do all right in Newcastle, but it'd be interesting to see if they take one look at him and don't play him either. That'll be very interesting to see. But we'll talk about Kone as a potential replacement for him. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know a lot about Kone. He played a pretty decent World Cup, I believe. Easy deal to do. 50 million quid from Roma. I think we need bodies. I think we're one short. I think Boadi, Anderson, Enzo Fernández. That's the three of them. That's the three for the three positions. Maybe O'Reilly. Maybe Kovacic. Maybe. I'd sell Kovacic. I'd get rid of him. I think he's got Galatasaray, Fenerbahce written all over him. So I'd get him out. I'd bin him off as soon as we could. And then maybe get this Kone guy in and let's see how he sells, because I do think we need extra experienced midfield players, but not over the hill ones. So I think Kone would be a good signing. Okay, so if you're new, please like and subscribe. I appreciate it. I do these live videos a few times a week. I try to give a bit of notice, but I do have a day job, so they're not always on a schedule. So yeah, to cover everything with Boadi in. Looking forward to seeing him. Marmoush out. No conspiracy here. Enzo Fernández in, hopefully soon. Maybe, who knows? I keep changing my mind whether I like the idea or not. Maresca is going to live or die by it. and Nico Gonzalez out. Bit of a shame, but maybe we can get a replacement in as mentioned with Kone. So we'll see how it goes, eh? We'll see how it goes. Liam Delap, he's gone to sorry to quit on him. He's got a Forest at 50 million quid. Fucking mental money for him. 50 million quid. 50 million quid for Liam Delap. I wouldn't have minded us getting him as a sub. I wouldn't have expected to pay anywhere near that. I thought about a 35 million quid player or something, but you know, the market is the market, isn't it? So again, yeah, thanks for that. If you're new, please subscribe. I might come back later this evening, but definitely tomorrow when some news breaks. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon. Take care.